This is Deb Tim, a Canadian girl, and this is a new edition of Deb's Musings. This is a story that happened to me long, long ago. I was just a young girl, and it impacted my life back then. And honestly, today I can remember it like it happened yesterday. So please stay tuned. My girlfriend Karen and I were inseparable. Karen was only a few months older than me. She was so beautiful, blonde with blue eyes. I had blonde hair too, but I didn't have those lovely blue eyes. Mine, in my mind, were boring old brown. I think I loved Karen so much because she liked me for me, just the way I was. I could be myself, share my secrets with her, and never feel like I was being judged. When I think back, we had so much fun. We were really quite silly. One time we asked my mom to make us the same dresses so we could pretend we were twins. Mom did that for us too. We wore those poor dresses clean into rags, I'm sure. They were yellow print with tiny white daisies all over them, and we loved them. We would put our dresses on, and when we were called in for supper, I would go to her house, and she would go to mine, and we'd pretend to be each other and make believe our parents didn't know the difference. We'd even trade names. It's amazing how vividly you remember these silly things from childhood. We continued as best friends throughout grade school. One day, we were 12 years old at this time. Karen was going to another friend's place and asked me to come along. It was a lovely Saturday afternoon, but I couldn't go. I had a babysitting job that afternoon. We walked together to the Beckers' home where I was to babysit, and she continued on without me. Oh, I really wanted to go, but I couldn't get out of babysitting. So we had arranged that I would meet her at the corner when she returned and I was done babysitting. Well, 4 o'clock rolled around and the Beckers got home. I rushed to the corner so I wouldn't be late meeting Karen. Well, just as I arrived at the corner, I could see Karen coming up the road and just beginning to cross the street. In a split second it happened. I saw Karen's body flying up in the air like a rag doll and came crashing down onto the blacktop. A car came over the hill and hit her. I ran screaming as my tears blurred my vision. Kneeling at her side, I sobbed. I never will ever forget her lovely face. It was a stark white mask. Her eyes were open, but you could only see the whites. Blood trickled from her eyes, nose, and ears. I collapsed down beside her, laying my head on her chest. I could feel her heart beating very weakly. I begged her to wake up. I pleaded with her. It seemed as if we were there for a very long time. It was like time was frozen in that moment. There was no sound, no breeze, complete nothingness. Stillness like I've never felt and never want to feel again. In that moment, the entire world stood still. Soon the silence was broken by the sound of sirens wailing. Someone grabbed me by the shoulder and tried to pull me away. I didn't want to go. I didn't want to leave Karen's side. I turned my tear-streaked face and looked up into the heartbroken eyes of Karen's father. I'm brought to tears as I talk about this. Even though it's so long ago, it's such a vivid memory. Only after being a mother and grandmother do I understand the gut-wrenching sadness of what Mr. Scott must have felt that day. Karen was on life support for a week before it was decided that they would pull the plug and allow her to go in peace. That day was May 6th, 1971. Karen would have been 13 on May 12th. Karen's parents wanted so desperately to donate her organs, hoping to save the life of another person. But with her massive internal injuries, there was nothing healthy enough to donate. After Karen's death, I've never allowed myself to get that close to another person. I guess in a way I was afraid they might be taken away from me too. I'm not really sure why. I have many lovely friends, but no one has ever filled that emptiness in my heart that will always be held open for my dearest friend, Karen. So until next time, this is Deb Tim signing out. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you're enjoying Deb's Musings. I enjoy sharing thoughts and experiences I've gone through, and I love hearing back about things similar that have happened to you or your thoughts on subjects too. So I really appreciate comments, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.